Hello everyone and welcome to our fascinating journey into the world of biology. Today, we are diving deep into the Five Kingdom Classification chapter, specifically focusing on a unique group within Kingdom Plantae, the bryophytes. Have you ever wondered about those tiny green patches on rocks or tree trunks? These are our bryophytes. We'll explore their simple yet intriguing lives, starting from easy concepts and gradually building up to competitive level insights. Get ready to discover the secrets of these ancient plants. Let's begin our adventure with the basics. What exactly are these humble green plants we call bryophytes? Bryophytes are essentially simple, non-vascular land plants. Think of them as the amphibians of the plant kingdom because, just like amphibians, they live on land but need water to reproduce. You'll usually find them in damp, shady places, growing close to the ground. They are quite small and unique because they don't have true roots, stems, or leaves like most plants you know. Instead, they have simple, root-like structures called rhizoids, which mainly help them anchor to surfaces. Common examples include the mosses you see on old walls and the flat liverworts found near streams. Now, let's look at some of their key characteristics. A major feature is the absence of vascular tissue, that's xylem and phloem, which are specialized tubes for transporting water and food in other plants. This lack of a transport system is why bryophytes stay so small. As we mentioned, they are completely dependent on water for fertilization. Without it, their male reproductive cells can't reach the female ones. The main plant body you see is called the gametophyte, responsible for producing reproductive cells. They reproduce using spores and often grow in dense, cushion-like mats, which helps them retain moisture. Time to test your understanding of these basic concepts. Here are 3 quick questions for you. 1. What is the primary reason why bryophytes are called amphibians of the plant kingdom? 2. Name 2 key features that distinguish bryophytes from flowering plants. And 3. What are rhizoids, and what is their main function in bryophytes? Take a moment to think about your answers. Great job on the easy level. Now, let's move a step further and explore bryophytes in more detail, uncovering some deeper insights. We call bryophytes the amphibians of the plant kingdom because they perfectly bridge the gap between aquatic algae and fully terrestrial plants. They can survive on land, but their reproduction still ties them to water. They were among the first plants to colonize land, showcasing early adaptations like a protective cuticle and specialized reproductive organs. However, their need for a watery film for sperm transfer means they are always found in moist environments. This characteristic makes them a fascinating evolutionary link, showing how plants slowly conquered land. Let's look at their unique structure. The main plant body you observe is the gametophyte, which is haploid and performs photosynthesis. This gametophyte can appear as a flat, undifferentiated thallus, like in liverworts, or as a more upright, leafy structure, typical of mosses. Instead of true roots, they have multicellular rhizoids, primarily for anchorage, with very limited water absorption. Water and nutrients are mostly absorbed directly through the plant's surface. Their simple stems lack complex vascular bundles, and their leaves are usually small, scale-like, and lack veins, all contributing to their compact size. Bryophytes exhibit a fascinating life cycle known as alternation of generations. Here, the dominant, independent, and photosynthetic stage is the gametophyte. This gametophyte produces gametes. Following fertilization, a diploid sporophyte develops. This sporophyte is unique because it remains attached to and depends on the gametophyte for all its nutritional needs. The sporophyte's main job is to produce haploid spores through meiosis. These spores are then dispersed and, when they land in a suitable moist environment, germinate to grow into a new gametophyte. Bryophytes are classified into 3 main groups: liverworts, mosses, and hornworts, each with distinct features. Now, Let's challenge your understanding with 5 medium-level questions. 1. Explain why bryophytes are said to exhibit alternation of generations. 2. What is the dominant stage in the life cycle of a bryophyte? How does it differ from the other stage? 3. List 3 ecological roles played by bryophytes in an ecosystem. 4. Distinguish between a thalloid and a leafy gametophyte, giving an example for each. And 5. Why does the absence of vascular tissue limit the size of bryophytes? Think carefully about these concepts. Excellent work! Ready to delve even deeper? The hard level will challenge you to analyze, compare, and connect bryophyte characteristics to broader biological theories. Let's detail the fascinating alternation of generations in bryophytes. The haploid gametophyte, which is the dominant and independent phase, produces male gametes in Antheridia and female eggs in Archegonia. A film of water is absolutely essential for the motile sperm to swim and reach the egg for fertilization. This fusion creates a diploid zygote, which then develops into the sporophyte. The sporophyte, unlike the gametophyte, is parasitic, meaning it's entirely dependent on the gametophyte for its nutrition. It consists of a foot, a stalk called a seta, and a capsule. Inside this capsule, meiosis occurs, producing haploid spores which are then released to germinate into new gametophytes, thus completing the cycle. Bryophytes, though simple, possess crucial adaptations for terrestrial life. A thin, waxy cuticle covers their surfaces to minimize water loss. Interestingly, true stomata, which are pores for gas exchange, are present on the sporophyte capsule, though generally absent on the gametophyte. Their multicellular rhizoids primarily serve for anchorage, providing stability, rather than significant water absorption. Ecologically, bryophytes are vital pioneer species, being among the first to colonize barren land. They play a significant role in soil formation and erosion control, especially on slopes, by holding soil particles together. Furthermore, their dense mats have a remarkable capacity to retain water, influencing local moisture levels. Bryophytes hold immense evolutionary significance. They represent a pivotal intermediate step in plant evolution, bridging the gap between aquatic green algae and more complex terrestrial vascular plants. They were the first group to successfully colonize land, developing key adaptations like the protected embryo within the archegonium and a cuticle, features absent in algae. However, their lack of true vascular tissue and continued dependence on water for fertilization differentiate them from pteridophytes, like ferns, which possess vascular systems and a dominant sporophyte. This positions bryophytes as an evolutionary side branch, showcasing early land plant adaptations without leading directly to higher plant forms. Now, for your hard-level challenge. 1. Describe the role of the sporophyte in the life cycle of a bryophyte, including its dependence on the gametophyte. 2. How do the structural adaptations of bryophytes, such as the cuticle and protected embryo, demonstrate their transition to terrestrial life? 3. Explain the concept of primary succession and the specific role bryophytes play in this ecological process. 4. Compare and contrast the reproductive strategies of algae and bryophytes, highlighting a key evolutionary advancement in bryophytes. 5. Why are bryophytes considered an evolutionary side branch rather than direct ancestors of vascular plants like ferns? 6. Identify two features present in bryophytes that are absent in most algae, indicating a higher level of organization. And 7. Discuss the significance of stomata on the sporophyte capsule of bryophytes, considering their absence on the gametophyte. Good luck! You've tackled the hard questions, fantastic! Now, prepare for the ultimate challenge, the hardest level. We'll explore bryophytes with competitive depth, biological intricacies, and even engineering insights. Bryophytes hold a critical phylogenetic position as the earliest diverging lineage of land plants, or embryophytes. Their close relationship to charophytes, a group of green algae, is supported by shared characteristics like chloroplast pigments and flagellated sperm. The journey from water to land was monumental, requiring innovations such as a protective cuticle, the development of stomata on their sporophytes, and multicellular reproductive organs to shield gametes and spores. The most profound adaptation was the protected embryo, nourished within the female gametophyte, a feature absent in algae. While these adaptations were groundbreaking, their persistent need for water for fertilization marks a primitive trait, limiting their full terrestrial independence and shaping their evolutionary path as a distinct lineage. Bryophytes are remarkable for their physiological resilience. They are poikilohydric, meaning their internal water content mirrors environmental humidity. Despite this, many can survive extreme desiccation, losing up to 90% of their water, and then fully recover upon rehydration. This incredible tolerance is due to cellular mechanisms like accumulating protective sugars and producing heat shock proteins. Water absorption occurs directly across their entire surface, often aided by capillary action in dense mats or specialized cells, like the hyaline cells in sphagnum. Internal transport is largely by slow cell-to-cell diffusion, though some mosses have rudimentary conducting strands. Understanding these mechanisms offers profound insights for drought-resistant crops and biomimetic designs. Bryophyte reproduction involves a dominant gametophyte and a dependent sporophyte. Sexual reproduction is oogamous, with motile, biflagellate sperm requiring a water film to reach the egg in the archegonium. This dependence is a major ecological constraint. However, they also employ diverse asexual strategies like fragmentation, gemme formation, and protonemal budding, which are crucial for localized colonization and survival. Spores, typically homosporous and vine-dispersed, ensure wide geographical spread. While asexual reproduction allows rapid proliferation, sexual reproduction, through gamete fusion, is vital for genetic recombination and maintaining population diversity, enabling adaptation to environmental changes. This dual strategy is key to their success in various niches. Bryophytes, particularly sphagnum moss, have immense economic and ecological value. Sphagnum's unique hyaline cells allow it to absorb and retain water up to 20 times its dry weight, making it invaluable as a soil conditioner, sterile packing material, and even a traditional wound dressing due to its antiseptic properties. Over millennia, decayed sphagnum forms peat, a significant fossil fuel and a massive carbon sink, crucial for global carbon cycling. Ecologically, bryophytes are sensitive bioindicators, revealing environmental health by responding to pollution and heavy metals. They act as pioneer species, initiating soil formation, preventing erosion, and creating vital microhabitats for diverse invertebrates, thus playing a foundational role in many ecosystems. Let's test your deepest understanding with the first 5 hardest level questions. 1. Discuss the evolutionary significance of the protected embryo in bryophytes and how it represents a key adaptation for terrestrial life, differentiating them from their algal ancestors. 2. Explain the concept of poikilohydry in bryophytes and describe the physiological mechanisms that enable them to survive extreme desiccation and rehydration. 3. Compare the roles of sexual and asexual reproduction in bryophytes, highlighting how each contributes to their survival and dispersal in diverse environments. 4. Elaborate on the economic importance of sphagnum moss, specifically detailing how its structural features contribute to its utility as a soil conditioner and a carbon sink. And 5. Analyze the evolutionary limitations imposed on bryophytes by their persistent dependence on water for fertilization and the absence of true vascular tissue. Here are the remaining 5 hardest level questions to challenge your comprehensive knowledge. 6. How do bryophytes serve as bioindicators? Provide examples of environmental factors they can indicate and explain the underlying reasons for their sensitivity. 7. Discuss the phylogenetic relationship between bryophytes and charophytes, identifying shared characteristics that support this evolutionary link. 8. Describe the basic structure of a bryophyte sporophyte, explaining how its components, foot, seta, capsule, contribute to spore production and dispersal. 9. From a bioengineering perspective, what lessons can be learned from the desiccation tolerance of bryophytes and how might these be applied in other fields? And 10. Contrast the internal transport systems of bryophytes with those of vascular plants, explaining how this difference impacts their respective growth forms and ecological niches. You've journeyed through the fascinating world of bryophytes, from their basic features to their complex ecological roles and evolutionary significance. We've covered everything from their humble beginnings as land pioneers to their unique survival strategies. We hope you feel more confident and curious about these tiny green wonders. For more such engaging and in-depth educational content, make sure to visit synapse.omaps.in. Don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for continuous learning. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep growing. Thank you for watching.